On January 28, 2026, a private Learjet 45 business jet carrying Ajit Pawar crashed near Baramati Airport in Maharashtra while attempting to land. The aircraft was en route from Mumbai to Baramati for a local election campaigning. All five people on board lost their lives. Ajit Pawar, two pilots including Captain Sumit Kapoor, security officer and a cabin crew member. India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau and the Directorate General of Civil Aviation have initiated an investigation into the causes of the crash. Early assessments points to a poor visibility and difficult landing conditions as possible contributing factors, and the black box has been recovered for forensic analysis. This tragedy should have led to collective mourning and serious reflection on aviation safety. Instead, it has exposed a darker side of public discourse. Within hours of the crash, social media began targeting one of the pilots, not with questions about systems or procedures, but with the attacks rooted in gender. A woman who lost her life in the accident was mocked and blamed simply because she was a female. This is not analysis, it is prejudice masked as opinion. Aviation does not function on stereotypes, it functions on discipline, training, and protocol. Every pilot, regardless of gender, undergoes the same rigorous process. Hundreds of hours of flight training, repeated simulator testing, medical and psychological evaluation, and continuous recertification. There is no separate or easier standard for women. A cockpit recognizes competence, not chromosomes. According to global aviation data, more than 95% of commercial pilots worldwide are men. In India, the number is kind of similar. Women make up roughly 12 to 15% of pilots, one of the highest proportions in the world. Yet, they remain a minority. By simple statistics, most aviation accidents in history have involved male pilots. Yet, no one concludes that men should not fly planes. Crashes are studied through black box data, weather analysis, mechanical inspections, and air traffic control communication, not through gender assumptions. If we were to apply the same flawed logic used against women pilots, then we would have to argue that men should not be surgeons because many medical errors are committed by male doctors. Men should not be drivers because most road accidents are caused by men. Men should not be leaders because most wars in the history were started by men. We reject these ideas because we understand that failure is individual, not biological. Responsibilities lies with systems and decisions, not with an entire gender. What makes this moment particularly painful is that the target of ridicule is no longer alive to defend her professionalism. A trained pilot who served in uniform lost her life in the line of duty, yet instead of dignity, she has been reduced to a stereotype. This reaction reveals an uncomfortable truth. Society is waiting for women to fail. Thousands of flights with women pilots land safely every day without applause. But one tragedy becomes a justification for prejudice. A plane crash should push us to ask serious questions. Were weather conditions properly assessed? Were runway conditions adequate? Did equipment malfunction? Were standard operating procedures followed? These are the questions that AAIB and DGCA will answer through evidence and times. Anything else is a noise. An accident has no gender. A cockpit has no ideology. A tragedy has no politics. Blaming a woman before an investigation concludes does not make aviation safer. It only exposes how fragile our respect for women in professional spaces still is. If the same seat has been occupied by a man, the conversation would likely be about circumstances and systems, not about biology. In moments of national loss, the true measure of society is not how quickly it finds someone to blame, but how responsibly it waits for truth. Grief deserves dignity, not sexism. Inquiry deserves fact, not bias. And those who lost their lives deserve to be remembered as professionals. Stop and think. Tragedy is human, but hatred is a choice.